good afternoon. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining me today. As I said earlier, it was just a brief conversation with you regarding sales and business generation during this really unprecedented time that we're experiencing. Some would say it's actually the toughest time for businesses. And obviously business generation is a huge factor in business survival. So we were hoping to get your views around business generation, particularly at this time as we're coming out of the most serious point of COVID-19. So I've got a couple of questions for you. And we can go from there and see how our conversation goes. Right. So I would like to start off with asking you how you would say selling products and services has been affected by COVID-19.
I think it's been, in talking to lots of different salespeople, it's been very interesting, the reactions that people have had. Initially, it was everything seemed to just close down. People were just almost in a shock type situation. And things are now starting to happen. Businesses are starting to get back to, I won't say normal, but as normal as they can be. But what I found, and interestingly, I had a conversation with a salesperson just this lunchtime, and he was saying to me, he was external sales, and he said, well, face-to-face sales, very, very difficult now. You know, I go and see people, not really sure how to handle it. And I think this is what the issue is at the moment. We've now become almost, we're now thinking that we can't, rather than looking at opportunities to say that we can do certain things. So I think for me, it's a case of there's probably never been a better time to get hold of senior decision makers in organizations, because they're just like we are. They're at home, they are trying to do work, and therefore there's a very good opportunity for people to get through to, as I say, senior decision makers, have a conversation, if only to introduce themselves and their solutions that they could potentially offer as a way forward to starting the process off of gaining new clients. So I think the issue is here now rather than anything else, from what I can see.
No, definitely. I would echo that in terms of my experience. I've been able to get hold of very senior people that I perhaps wouldn't normally have been able to. I suppose my feeling and experience has been there's probably a bit more fear. Once you've had that initial conversation is the challenge about moving that person to the next stage and getting them to commit, because there is a bit more fear and there's a bit more a bit of a risk adverse feeling. People don't want to get it wrong. So how would you, I mean, would you say that's part of it? Is it initially good at getting hold of people, but then that's that next stage really?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole generation, probably my generation predominantly, that find this quite threatening and quite difficult to do. And really what we've got to do is just accept it. This is another part of the way we're going to be doing business from now on. Nobody knows how long it's going to continue. And so we have to grasp this opportunity, because the interesting thing is people are winning new business and they are driving their businesses forward. And really, we've just got to get on now and make it happen. And I think the other aspect that has really started to come to the fore, probably in the last 6 weeks, is that everybody in organizations has got a responsibility now to help the businesses to develop more sales or new sales, whether it's with existing clients looking for opportunities, spotting opportunities through contacts that have moved on, sometimes unfortunately through redundancies, and they're advertising their capabilities through LinkedIn or one of the other social media outlets, and really help their company to look for ways to generate more opportunities. Now the thing is, just because someone is in a role that's not necessarily business development or sales, doesn't stop them from finding the opportunities. They don't personally have to necessarily take that opportunity forward. They can pass it to somebody else in the business, but it's really important that they keep their ears open now in order to help organizations come out of this and to be stronger. And we're seeing it already in different industry sectors. So for example, the finance sector certainly seems to be moving rapidly forward. We know, for example, with mortgages, lenders there are manipulating their products to address the particular environment that they're now in. And, you know, people are now keen to, like, let's get on. And it's just looking at how do we get this opportunities to win business.
Mm. Yeah, that segues very nicely into my next question, actually, Neil, when you were saying that everyone's got a responsibility or an opportunity to look at business generation, whether they're a salesperson or not. So I was going to ask you, how would you suggest businesses rebuild their sales, or, you know, really, how do they focus on that business generation? What are the sort of things you would be looking at if you were helping a business, or would you suggest, for example?
Okay, well, let's split it into two things. Let's look at new opportunities, and let's look at existing customers and existing clients. With existing clients, we've got to make absolutely certain that we're not making any assumptions about where they are. So they may have been a customer for a number of years, a number of months, generating a revenue stream. But things will have happened in that business. They may have had policy changes, strategic changes. And so it's really critical for everybody to keep up to speed with that, and to check what's changed, you know, very simply, in terms of, you know, last time we spoke 6-8 weeks ago, how do they see things now? Where do they want to be at the end of the year? So within existing customers, it's very important to find out where they are, because at the same time that it might give you a flag that we're not going to get as much revenue as we thought we were going to get, equally, there may be some new opportunities as a result of the way that the existing customers have changed. They may even have thought that they've told you these things, but generally they've probably told a lot of people. But if you haven't been told and you're making assumptions about the way the business is going to carry on, it can waste time, it can waste resources. So it's essential that we nail that down. I think with new opportunities, you know, the greatest source of new opportunities has always got to be referrals. So, you know, my challenge is to really everybody is to ask, you know, who else can we be talking to? If somebody's not prepared to give you a referral, then it could indicate that you've not been doing a very good job, which is another indicator that you've got to work a bit harder with those people as well. So, you know, getting referrals, as I say, looking for people who are moving within social media, and keeping track of that, and really looking at what's happening in the trade press, and looking at what's happening in terms of market sectors. You know, a market sector that previously could have been, you know, a good area for you to get business may no longer, you know, be the case. You know, we can see how manufacturing has been affected. We can understand, you know, some of the changes that, you know, are happening there, because struggling to get people in, products not being made, logistics issues. So maybe if you can deliver products and services elsewhere, then maybe shift away from that particular sector, if that was a strong sector for you. But I think it really pays to look at your existing base, see where the opportunities lie, and if possible, use those to jump into some other areas. All common things. This is not rocket science, but I think, as I said before, in answer to your first question, we've got a psychological issue here. You know, if you think you can get business via Zoom, WebEx, etc., then you probably will. But if you think, oh no, it's difficult, you know, guess what? The net result will be that you're not going to be successful. So, you know, tied in with the original persistence, and then grasping these opportunities, there's every reason for you to be positive about moving your business forward.
Yeah, I think there's often a lot of positivity and opportunity that comes out of a crisis or a challenging situation. So, I mean, if you look at businesses that have survived hundreds of years, they have often had to change the way they do things. So it's a really positive message. Well, thank you very much, Neil. It's really nice to talk to you. Really appreciate your thoughts. Speak to you soon.
Bye.